Hey, this is Meredith Elliott Powell. You know what time it is. It is 8 a.m. Eastern, Saturday morning. Time for a Sales Logic. Hanging out here with my partner, Mark Hunter.
Hey, good morning. And you're dealing with the whole storm in North Carolina. You're safe in Charleston, or Charleston area, but you're
Yeah.
home. Hey, hearts and prayers go out to you and everyone else.
Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty devastating here in the eastern part of the state. And I haven't even kept up with our friends in Florida, but I hear down in the Big Bend area, people got hit really badly too. So we hope that everybody is safe and sound and starting the long trek of putting things back together this morning. But let's put that storm on the back burner right now and let's talk about sales. Mark, we got a good show today, don't we?
We do, because we're going to talk about how to get prospects to show up. Oh, come on. We've all been stiffed. We've all been radio silenced. We've all had them go dark. That's what we're going to talk about. How do you get prospects to show up? We got a great question. We've got a great book, Lightning Round. Let's get the show going.
Prospect with integrity, we will get customers who have integrity. Integrity is the foundation from which everything is built on.
You better understand value. But at the end of the day, sales is a relationship business. It is a people business. It is an emotional business.
This is Sales Logic.
This is Sales Logic, the show where we dive into the strategies, discuss the steps, everything that you need to know to sell more effectively. Now, before Mark dives into today's question, I like to tell you how the show works because we want you, the audience, to be a part of the show. If you've got a question, guess what? We'll feature you right here on Sales Logic. Then we cover a hot topic, we recommend a book, and because you have given us something so precious, that is your time, we want you to leave with a return on investment. So we have a lightning round, those strategies and steps that you can put into place immediately to sell more effectively. So Mark, what's on tap for today?
Well, the topic is how to get prospects to show up. The question comes from Donna in Asheville, really the center of the storm. You've got a home up, that's where you live. Anyway, she says, I have a salesperson who is a rock star when it comes to setting appointments. She's definitely talking to our target market. Many of the prospects even know her name. They all seem excited to talk, and then they don't show up. It's maddening because the schedule is so busy right now that setting time for those calls is even a challenge. And then we have to reschedule. And yes, we send out confirmation emails, even phone calls. But just today, when she sent the question in, 2 people didn't show up, and one of them was an inbound lead. Any ideas?
Yeah.
Well, hey, I did put that into the Sales Logic brain. Came back with a number of things, and I'm just going to highlight a couple of them because, again, the brain is such a powerful tool. It said, hey, send personalized reminders. There's nothing like getting very personalized with the reminder and create a clear sense of urgency. Urgency, speed sells. Speed sets appointments. Speed gets people there. What are your thoughts?
So I think there's a lot of things. Number one, we need to back up to the obvious. Did the prospect really have a need? Because you would show up if you really, really had a need. And I understand that one is inbound, but I would work with my salesperson a little more on qualifying their sense of urgency. Let me give you an example. I've not only been ghosted, I have been the ghoster. And I'm not the ghoster to be rude. I'm not the ghoster to be mean. I'm not I'm not even the ghoster because I don't want the product. Just in that flow of the day, I don't have time for it. And so I end up blowing it off. I don't even have time to send the email that I will not be there. So I think step number one, there's a lot of other strategies we're going to get into. But even putting with your prospect, listen, I know you've got a lot on your plate. Let's kind of talk about the sense of urgency around this. Is this something we want to schedule in the next couple of weeks? Is it something that would be better if I waited 30 days? Try to get a feel for either their sense of urgency or what you could do to increase their sense of urgency. So they want to get on the call.
You bring up a good point there, because in the midst of the call, you say, yeah, this sounds really good. This sounds really good. It's that itch, but then you get to the appointment and other things on your calendar. And you're right. I have been the ghoster many, many times, not out of a desire, but it just happens. Now, here's the piece that I always say. Try to make that appointment as quickly as possible. In other words, if you're talking to somebody, because I've had this happen, where somebody gets on my calendar, we do this follow-up appointment, but it's several weeks out. And by that time, I forgot about what is it that we were going to talk about. So I say, when you schedule an appointment, make it as quickly as possible. In other words, it might even be tomorrow. I had this yesterday. I had a lead, very much of a qualified, engagement, and we had a great conversation, and we arranged a follow-up call for Monday. I'm not letting, time pass. It's Monday. And yet, really, this customer, are they in a rush to make a decision? No, but I know that no can become, well, we'll get back to you. I want to keep it going. I want to keep it happening. And I'm personalizing all my responses. And he's going to receive an email that morning reminding him of the urgency. In other words, I try to create a lot of urgency.
Yeah. Here's another thing is that also I like to you should send a reminder that gives them an out to reschedule. Like, as the reminder, Mark was so right. You send a personalized reminder. Hey, Mark, I'm excited about our meeting today. Remember, we were going to cover these things. Also, this isn't a good time for you. Here's my link. Let's reschedule. I appreciate that so much, because sometimes my day gets busy. And if you make it easy for me to reschedule it, I will reschedule it.
One of the easiest ways to do that is when you send that note out, what you want to include, hey, I got some additional information I'm going to share regarding this. In other words, you give them something additional to be looking forward to in the call, because otherwise they're going to go back, well, we talked about that. Well, that really wasn't that important. Oh, wait a minute. Meredith's going to call me and she's going to share with me some additional information. That is absolutely key, because it creates that air of mystique and that air of urgency.
Yeah, Natalie is so right. She said sometimes the meeting falls off their calendar and they truly wanted to attend. Follow up immediately with a text or a call and let go of the guilt trip. I mean, pretty much just going, I always say, hey, Mark, I had a scheduled for 2:00 today. I probably messed something up on that schedule. Would love to get us back connected as fast as possible. I always take the hit.
Okay, so how quickly, we'll say you have a meeting at 2:00 and 2:00 rolls around, you're on the Zoom connection or the Teams connection or whatever. How soon do you send out a note? Hey,
I do it at 5 minutes and I do it again at 10 minutes. I mean, that's, I don't know why I do that, but that's what I do.
Okay. And what do you include in that note?
I just say, I just basically say, hey, this is Meredith. I had a scheduled for 2:00. I'm on the Zoom right now. Let me know if there's a challenge with the link or if you'd prefer to do this via phone call.
Right. I do the same thing. I don't pass guilt. I don't pass blame. I said, hey, I know schedules get the best. I'm here. I'll stay here for a few more minutes. We need to reschedule. Hey, Bryn Tillman jumps in. She was part of our Sales Logic Expert Exchange this week. Great conversation. And she says that she'll often send a video message to all the participants on the calendar invite via LinkedIn the day before, letting them know. Great suggestion, great strategy. How would you respond if you were on the receiving end of that, Mare?
I think that if I were on the response of a receiving end, what I like about what Bryn is saying is what I was going to say next. If this call sounds like it's about you, I feel better blowing it off. If it sounds like it's about something for me, now all of a sudden I don't want, I don't want to blow it off. I mean, I was thinking about getting ready for this podcast. I was thinking about meetings I never blow off. And things I never blow off are things like, I have a massage schedule. I will move heaven and earth to make it to that massage because it is going to bring unbelievable value to my life. I've got a tennis match or a team or a tea time. I move heaven and earth to get there. And then, I was talking with I had something scheduled and I really needed to move my Monday around. But I had a meeting with a researcher and I had a meeting with a PR person. Both have been recommended to me. And I was looking at my calendar and I didn't recognize the PR person. And I was like, I can blow that off. I went and looked up his name, realized who he was from, who he was, and I was like, oh crap, I need that meeting. Like it was something I really, really wanted to grow my business. So you have to realize if they're blowing you off, they didn't see the value in it.
Yeah. And you know what? We never blow off Sales Logic at
Yeah.
8 a.m.
That's right.
Saturday mornings, Eastern time. Anyway, but hey, here's something key. You saw the name. I had that too. I had a name on my calendar and my schedule, and I blew it off. And it actually wound up being that it was part of a decision maker of an event I was speaking at. And I was like, oh man, but there was just the name. I didn't even recognize the name. Here's the thing. And it was lesson to me, lesson to everyone. Put something in that invite. Put something in that invite so they can link back as to who it is. Again, I think, oh, people have a meeting with Mark Hunter. They're going to be there. There, people are going to go, Mark Hunter, who is he? So put some value in there. And that reminder email is absolutely critical to bring additional value, right?
Yeah. And I do think that what happens, Donna, is that your salesperson schedules you. And then I think what happens is people are starting to look at their day and they're looking for a pocket of time. We all do it. Your day is too scheduled and you need an hour somewhere. Or a client calls you that wants to do business with you. You have a chance to make money rather than to spend money. So they're looking for something to knock off their calendar. So number one, give them a reason not to knock it off. Number two, be understanding if they do. You would take a shot at making money before you would take a shot at spending money. So be okay if things have to get scheduled a few times.
And this is so key. If you have somebody scheduling meetings for you, there's a couple things that it's easy to forget. Is the compensation for that person to schedule meetings? Well, if they are, guess what? They're going to push people to schedule meetings. So they may get people to schedule meetings that, really not qualified. Two, do they get compensated only if the person shows up for the meeting? Okay, I get that. But what can that do? That can also create a set of false expectations. So if you have somebody who is setting meetings for you, they've got to be very clear as to the expectations. And it comes back to really understanding the ICP and what is the critical need that person has. Because, we've all kind of taken meetings. Yeah, okay, I'll go ahead and take that meeting. I'll go ahead and let that meeting appear on my calendar. But then, like we said earlier, we have ghosted people ourselves.
Yeah.
Because, again, it just doesn't have enough value. So you got to make sure that you're staying tight in that ICP, and that reminder piece, absolutely key. Bryn comes back in again, and I love her comment. Video connects the participant to you as a human, and it's hard to ghost a person versus an appointment. So spot on. Now, I'm gonna push back a little bit. I get people send me videos all the time, and I never open them. I just never open them. That's just not my style, because it's like, don't waste my time with it. But because you did send me a video, I may not open it, but I see your face.
Right.
I see your face, and it creates that personal connection. So I do love the strategy, even though I don't embrace it on the receiving end.
Yeah. I think that the other thing is that maybe you can find a way to provide the information to them via some other way besides the appointment. Like, first of all, I think as salespeople, we need to be okay if people blow us off 2 or 3 times. Again, be understanding. Put yourself in the mind of the person doing business with you and watch your own behavior. Watch how much you move your own schedule around because you get a better opportunity. It doesn't mean they don't want to buy. It doesn't mean they aren't interested. It just means on September 30th at 9:00, you were not the biggest priority. Maybe you can be the biggest priority on October 2nd at 11. o'clock. So understand this is part of the process, but nurture that along and use it as an opportunity. Use it like being told no in sales. No means, you know what, you didn't convince me that I should part with my dollars right now, but you can keep trying. It's the same thing with an appointment.
One of the best strategies that I've found in terms of trying to get people to show up for the meeting is you're on the call with them. And of course, you're practicing BAM FAM. BAM FAM, book a meeting from a meeting. So get that. This is what we're talking about. But what you do is in the follow-up correspondence, that follow-up, you play back to them exactly what they shared with you. Mary, you were sharing with me that you were having issues with so-and-so, or such and such. And that's one of the things we want to talk about. And I'd love to get your opinion more regarding what you, in other words, what you're doing is you're playing back to them exactly what they shared with you. Now, what does that do? That draws you in, says, whoa, this person actually listened to what I had to say. Two, because I'm saying I want your opinion and I've got some additional information, it says this meeting is really going to be about me. It's not about the salesperson. It's about me. That is creating that connection. And that is absolutely so key. I love what Thomas is saying. If you schedule an appointment, it's more than a few days away. Chances are you aren't a priority and you go to the bottom of the list. This is why I say you really got to push it up as early as possible, which means when I'm booking a meeting, I'm saying, hey, what's your calendar look like tomorrow? And I always say tomorrow, and I give a time. And because again, I'm really trying to move it up as quickly and as early as possible.
Yeah. And Dave Sanderson said here, I take no as a not yet. That's so awesome.
Yes.
We all get ghosted, and it's just, it isn't personal. I forget the statistics on the amount of time the average executive spends in meetings, but it's absolutely positively crazy. It is the majority of their day. And I know I spend way too much time in them. So I will schedule some time with something I really want to do, even like a podcast or something. And I'll need to move it because I have a sales opportunity I need to put in there. If you're dealing with human resources people, they may have a crisis or a person they want to hire or something else that comes up there. So get conditioned for that. The other thing I'm going to say is, though, Donna, I think it would be good for you and your salesperson to go over the last 10 calls you got ghosted on and the last 10 calls that showed up and try to identify if there's anything different either that your salesperson is doing or that there is in the selection of the people that she chose to set the appointment up with. Because something is a little different there if some people are showing up and some people aren't.
I'm going to share a strategy that people are going to go, wait a minute, this doesn't work. And the strategy is this: if you're having meetings with senior level people, just yesterday, I'm looking back at my calendar, and I had a conversation with a CEO and a CRO. I had them both on Friday afternoons. I was able to schedule both of them. Both of them showed up for those two respective meetings. Why? Because it was Friday afternoons. There's something a little bit looser about the calendar on a Friday afternoon. Both of these were initial calls. In other words, we caught up with each other just at a conference, but that was it. We didn't really know each other. Both of them showed up for the meetings. If I had tried to schedule those meetings for a Wednesday morning or a Tuesday morning, they would have been blown off. But because I scheduled them for Friday afternoons, both of them showed up. We were able to have a meeting, book a meeting from a meeting. Both of them, we got additional meetings. One I got for Monday and one I got for Tuesday. And again, I feel very confident. But again, it's playing a little bit into the schedule. So if you're dealing with senior level people, play to their calendar, because you may think your calendar looks good, but it's not your calendar. It's their calendar that's of concern.
Mark, I think that is so incredibly important. And, in really saying, is there a time of the day that works better for you or a day of the week that works better for you? I can't tell you how many times I will show up for a call at 5 and 6 a.m. The chances that I am going to move that are slim to none. The moment that it flows from 9 to 5 when I make money, the chances are it's going to move.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of my most valuable calls. I had a call this week with New Zealand. Okay, now it was New Zealand, but it was at 9 o'clock at night, and yeah, and the gentleman on the other side, it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon for them. But I was there. I love those early morning, or those 6 a.m., those 7 a.m. calls. Those are absolutely outstanding because again, I'm going to be there, and I found that people who book those calls, they're committed to their
Yeah.
schedule too, and I love that. Yes.
Yeah, because it's not in the it's really not in the flow of the day. And I think that it's fine to I think that it's fine to ask. Like I'll even say to somebody, I know that 9 to 5 is really the hectic part, or 9 to 4 is really the hectic part. Would there be a better time to schedule that's outside of that would make things easier for you? You'd be surprised how many people come into the office at 7 o'clock in the morning, or how many people that come in at 9 and leave at 7 at night. Like, so be open to different type of windows.
Which means you as a salesperson probably have to make the hustle too. But you know what? If you're listening to this podcast, you are a person who makes it hustle. Hey, Bryn is confirming again to us, add the details of what will be covered in the calendar invite. This is so key. And the topics they mentioned resonate. This is so key. So it's not just an appointment, but it's also very clear as to what the expectations are. That's absolutely clear because again, you and I have both been there. You see 2 meetings on the calendar. Screw it. I'm going to miss this one. Spot on. Hey, time is moving along pretty fast. We need to get to the book. So I guess I think I kind of know something about the book because the book is High Profit Prospecting. It's a book I wrote, and it's a blueprint book as to how to get the call and how to stay absolutely focused. We've got in there scripts. We've got in there everything you need from a prospecting standpoint. So yeah, I don't know.
I think of it as a classic, Mark. You wrote that book a while ago, but it is truly, if you want to understand prospecting better. I think one of the most interesting things about prospecting is that you don't ever master it. You don't ever really, really master how to prospect. You get better at it, you progress at it, but there's always something you can learn. It's why I love so much that Donna asked the question today, because you kind of roll along and then you hit some challenges. Roberta Moore says, I love that book. It's a great book. And so I really suggest you read High Profit Prospecting because it really, really goes into heavy detail about how to be a better prospector. And you can always be a better prospector.
And there's something interesting because I look at how I prospect today. It's 1,000% better than it was 10 or 15 years ago.
So
I mean, we are continuously improving, because we understand the psychology, and there's so much psychology in how we sell. Anyway, hey, let's get on with the lightning round. Are you ready for the lightning round?
I am.
Hey, before we do that, we should talk about the Sales Logic Mastermind and get people in there. I've had several calls this week from people saying, "Hey, I've been in the brain, or I've been in the role play." We had several people reach out to me this week and said that they were in the Sales Logic role play, which is really cool. Again, there's so many tools in the Sales Logic Mastermind, but you got to go to saleslogicpodcast.com. You'll see all the information there, and it's really cool.
If you want to exceed your goals in 2025, if you needed a community, if you need support, if you need to increase your skills, if you need a little accountability, think about joining the Sales Logic Mastermind. We would love to have you. It's a powerful group.
Yeah, because I even had a call at 6 a.m. this morning, or excuse me, this week from one of the members in the group asking me a question. So yeah, it's an engaged group. We love communicating. We love talking. Anyway, lightning round. Ready?
Yep.
Top 10 strategies to build your personal brand. Go.
Number one, decide what you're going to build your personal brand on. Like, you need to be known for something.
Be consistent. Whatever you build your brand around, be consistent, be continuous. Don't fade in, fade out. You got to stay out there for a while.
Yeah. Number 3, decide who you're building your personal brand for. Who is your ideal customer profile that you're going to be attracting with this personal brand?
As you build your personal brand, keep the focus on the people you're serving. And that's truly what you're doing. You are serving people, you're helping them. That's where you keep your focus.
Yeah, realize that your personal brand is personal and professional. Decide what you want to be known for and what you want people saying about you, and realize that it's going to be reflected in both. Like I can't say that I am a sales expert and then struggle to hit my sales goals. I can't do that.
As you build your brand, it's also who you associate with. Who are your customers? Who are the people you align with? It is absolutely key because you become a reflection of who you spend the most time with.
Yeah. Number seven, talk to people and figure out, is your personal brand sticking? Do a little bit of survey and see what do people say about you, and does it resonate with your personal brand?
If we're talking personal brand, we're probably talking social media. Now, this does not mean that you need to be on every social media platform. I really only spend time on really one social media platform. That's it. That's it. But that's where my audience is. Be known rather than just be a name or a number.
Yeah, I would say learn to tell your story. Help people understand why that is your personal brand. Like, why, if you're a health nut, why are you dedicated to being a health nut? If you're, like I think about Mark, I think about your story and sales. I mean, one reason you became a sales aficionado is because you struggled. You even got fired from a sales job. So be connected, be relatable, and tell your story.
Yeah, because I got fired from my first 2 sales jobs. And the only reason I got into sales was because I needed a car. But anyway, hey, you got to buy the book to know the story anyway. Hey, Roberta Moore is jumping in that she's part of the mastermind and she was in the brain yesterday. And yeah, she's picking up a number of tips, a number of ideas from it. So absolutely gold. Hey, number 10 here, be authentic, be who you are, demonstrate integrity. Because again, you can't put a fake picture on, it just doesn't work. Lipstick on a pig. That's what I was trying to say. Lipstick on a pig just doesn't work. Anyway, with that, we want to say thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. If something we've said has earned you a single dollar, consider telling a friend about our show because it's how we grow when we help you grow. I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meridith Elliott Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
all of this uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical.
All right. Now, think about the Sales Logic Mastermind. We want you in this group of people that explodes next year in 2025. But if nothing else, mark your calendar for 8 a.m. Eastern next Saturday morning. Join us right here for another episode of Sales Logic. As always, you are an amazing audience, and we'll see you right back here next week.
And I'm going to say, jump in on our next Sales Logic Expert Exchange. Larry Levine will be joining us. Oh, is he authentic? Does he have a genuine brand? He does. He'll be joining us on the 4th Monday of each month. We'll put the link in the show notes for you. Get registered for it. Join us with a conversation with Larry Levine.
Great. We'll see you next week.